Hey, I'm Umbreon Libris, and this is day 9 of my Pokemon Violet Adventure Journal. I don't know how much you'll be able to hear, but there's a windstorm going on, so hopefully it doesn't affect the audio quality too much. It was a surprisingly uneventful day for the amount of playtime that I had. I did a lot of exploring in the southeastern portion of Paldea between Mesagosa and Lebencia. I spent most of my time just going around and collecting items and getting Gimmighoul and catching Pokemon that I didn't have yet and pulling stakes out of the ground. I also did several raids, and in the process I saw a lot of Pokemon that I hadn't encountered before. As usual, these were not great looks at these Pokemon, but they gave me a much better sense of what they look like than what I had before. So I saw the final evolution of Sprigatito, which looks good enough and must be a grass and dark type, considering how many dark moves mine's already learned and that this one used foul play in the battle. I also saw an evolution to Fuecoco. I'm guessing it's the middle stage, but I can't be sure. It looks very strange, and whereas Fuecoco had that kind of ugly cute appeal to it, this one loses the cute entirely. Hopefully this is the middle stage and the final is a little bit better, but I've heard people's impressions of Fuecoco's final stage, and my hopes are not high. I also saw the final evolution of Quaxly. I'd already seen the middle stage because Indigo showed it to me when hers evolved, but I hadn't seen the final yet, and looking at it from the front, it's not terrible, but I do find the dancing and the peacock tail really off-putting. I also saw what seems to be a Primeape evolution, which actually looks pretty cool, although the one that I saw was shiny, so the color's a little off. And also in a raid, I caught an Ice Terra Toadschool. I still haven't seen a proper wild one of these, so I caught it, but I do not like the design at all. Walking Tentacool just does not work for me, but at least judging by the Pokedex icon, Toadscruel seems to be a little bit more interesting. Speaking of Pokemon that I can see in the Pokedex, I had another one show up that I have not seen in battle, Ceruledge. It seems to be the final evolution of Charcadet, and it looks very cool, and must be what I was calling Mega Man that I'd glimpsed during the pre-release cycle. The only evolution of my own Pokemon that happened today was Shroodle evolving into Grafaiai. I actually like it, and I think it looks very cool, but I'm also a little bit disappointed by it because it doesn't evolve further, and to me it looks like a middle stage. It doesn't look like a fully evolved Pokemon. But I like it enough that there's a decent chance it will get some team time later towards the end of the game. I only did 2 kind of major things today. One was major in terms of like game milestones, and one was major in terms of time investment, besides exploring, of course. The game milestone was that I went back to the Team Star base. I actually accidentally broke into the base by jumping over a ledge and ending up inside of the base. And there's actually this funny moment where the PA system tells me to go ring the bell at the gate and storm the base like a decent person. But to my surprise, I didn't actually have to storm the base. The Star Barrage didn't happen because I'd already completed it before, so I went straight to the battle with Mela. I learned that the Revavroom can't be paralyzed, and it's not because of its ability, and it also doesn't take the passive damage from Salt Cure, which all just reinforces my understanding that this is not actually a Pokemon. It also still hasn't showed up in my Pokedex as Pokemon that I battled. So in part because of all that, and in part because I've been really spreading out my training, this was still a tough battle, which was nice. I liked seeing Revavroom get progressively more broken as the battle went along, with sparks and smoke coming out of it. And I did win in the end, although it felt like I was cutting it a little bit close. I'm interested to see where this Team Star plot is going to go. There seems to be some interesting interpersonal issues between the Team Star people and the Academy that I'm hoping will be a little bit more complex than just rebels rejecting the rules, basically. And it was nice to see Penny again from the supply unit. After that, I got back to exploring and making my way slowly towards Lebencia. On the coast just outside the city, I battled a trainer with a Veluza. I'd seen these at Casaroya Lake, but I didn't really stick around to battle them. I was always just trying to avoid them, so I hadn't had a great look at them, and it does look pretty cool. Its signature move, though, is what really might make it interesting enough to use. Maybe, because I'm not a big fan of training Pokemon that don't evolve unless it's like really the end of the game. I did catch one nearby. So then I actually arrived in Lebencia, and I was excited to finally have another city to explore. It had been a while since I'd been to any other city, since when I was doing the Path of Legends, I was just going Titan to Titan and not stopping anywhere else. I was really glad that the city had more than just food shops, like it was in Artisan. was on, that this one had apparel shops. And I was really hoping that by getting here, I'd be able to change out of my uniform. But that was not an option, and it seems like it's not going to be an option in the game at all, which is really frustrating. It ruins the customization that you can do in the game. I tend to pick the girl because I like having my character wear skirts and dresses, and those are not part of the uniform, so it seems like I'm not going to be able to dress like that in the game at all, which is really disappointing. And even the things that you can customize, it seems like it's a lot of options for the things that you can change, but at least for now, in practice, that's not really true. Like, having 20 different versions of fingerless mittens isn't really variety, because if I'm not interested in fingerless mittens, those are all out the window. Like, I'm pretty sure this whole time I've only seen 3 different kinds of gloves, and they just come in a bunch of different colors. So I did buy some new items, and I even went back to Mesagosa to buy items that I had skipped before, now that I have more money and a better sense of what I can and can't change, just to try to get a look that feels a little bit more personal, a little bit more like me. But it's going to really suck if I have to go the entire game just wearing those 4 versions of the uniform. I guess I can hope that at some point we're going to get like what we had in Legends, where at the end of the game you unlocked the outfits of other people. And even the Sword and Shield DLC had that as well to some degree. Hopefully we'll get something like that, because even some of the other students that are more significant characters, they customize their uniform in more unique ways, and so I hope that we get access to some of that variety. Anyway, that's all for today. I haven't done the lebencia gym yet, so that's what we'll start with tomorrow, and we'll see where I go from there. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next chapter.